Good morning. Before I start this press conference on the topic that we had planned, I do want to say a couple words about the passing of my good friend, a legend in Los Angeles, Roz Wyman. Roz was incredible. She was the second woman elected to the LA City Council, its first female Jewish member. She recounted how being a Jewish woman precluded her back in the days when she was first elected from being allowed to go into many locations that the male council members were allowed to go to. Private clubs, for example, wouldn't allow her in. But she rose to become an extremely important figure in Los Angeles, the leading figure to bring the Dodgers here to L.A. And even after she left the city council, she continued to be have a tremendous impact on the political scene here and across the country. Roz's house was the go-to place for leaders from throughout the United States when they were trying to generate support for their political campaigns. I was very privileged to be Roz's friend, to get her counsel and have her support. Roz will be very greatly missed by generations of Angelenos who are deeply in her debt. Now let me say a few words about the topic that brings us together today. Hollywood nightclubs. Hollywood nightclubs, like all businesses in the city of Los Angeles, have to play by the rules. And when they don't, we take action. An illegal club that is serving alcohol, that can be a really dangerous combination. And let me also say that these clubs, when they threaten that danger, also draw down very scarce LAPD resources that shouldn't be necessary. And by the way, there are many legal clubs in Hollywood, and those clubs suffer when they're trying to play by the rules themselves, just trying to do the right thing, when clubs enter the scene and don't make those efforts to do the right thing. So today I announced that we have filed multiple criminal charges against the operators of 2 clubs in Hollywood whom we allege have not played by the rules. And I should point out that in both cases, the owners of the properties in which these alleged clubs were located have now taken action to evict those operators. So one of these clubs is at 5911 Hollywood Boulevard. At least it was. Now the owners, as I say, have taken action to evict them. There were numerous complaints. And we allege that one night LAPD came to the scene in response. They observed a number of vehicles that allegedly were impeding traffic. They allegedly found 2 purported security guards who weren't registered. They stopped one vehicle and inside found a loaded weapon and cannabis. In the alleged club, we claim the officers found a full bar, a DJ, people consuming cannabis in the location. The operators of that club have each been cited with 5 counts, including operating without, in contrast to the conditions that were placed on the property by a conditional use permit, including the fact that they weren't operating a kitchen but were serving alcohol, dispensing alcohol without a license and other charges. And the owners and operators of that club can face 2.5 years in jail and $5,000 fines. The other place that we allege operated illegally as a nightclub is at 1707 Las Palmas. There, undercover officers arrived one night at 2 in the morning. They found alcohol, we allege, a DJ and dancing, and the operator has been charged with 4 counts, including illegal use of the land. We allege the property owner thought that they were leasing to a coffee shop at that location. We allege the sale of alcohol without a license and operating a dance hall without a permit. And the operator faces 2 years in jail and a $4,000 fine. In each instance, when officers arrived at these locations, they saw at least 100 people in each of them. And we want to make very clear, these are locations that are within a block or so of residences in Hollywood. There are many problems that these kinds of locations can pose when they are operating illegally. When they flout the law and, for example, serve alcohol when they're not allowed to, they can overserve people. That can have a very serious impact on jeopardizing public safety. I want to note that in one case, we do allege that the purported security officers weren't registered. Security around such locations, as we know, is extremely important, especially in places like Hollywood. And as I mentioned earlier, these locations can undermine the work of businesses that are trying to operate legitimately. I want to say that our announcement today is both intrinsically important, and I hope it deters others from attempting to operate illegally in these kinds of locations in Hollywood or elsewhere in Los Angeles. I want to thank our neighborhood prosecutor, who's standing to my left, Ethan Weaver. Ethan has done a marvelous job as our neighborhood prosecutor in Hollywood and the surrounding region, and has been very vigilant about issues like this. Thank you, Ethan, very much for your leadership in the community that I know has earned tremendous respect from both residents and from LAPD, with whom you've worked very closely. I also want to thank our friends at Channel 35, LA City View, for allowing this announcement to be broadcast publicly throughout the city. I'd like to say a few words in Spanish, and then I'm happy to take questions. If you're not present here for our press conference, as some are, and are watching on Channel 35, Rob Wilcox, our Director of Community Education and Outreach, is here to take your questions online, and he will read them to me in a moment or two. Ahora en español. Como parte del trabajo de mi oficina para mantener la seguridad pública de los angelinos, anunció que hoy que estamos presentando 9 cargos penales contra 2 clubes nocturnos en Hollywood, que alegamos están operando ilegalmente. Ambos clubes están ubicados dentro del importante distrito de entretenimiento de Hollywood. Los operadores de los 2 clubes son inquilinos y los dueños de las propiedades quieren que estos operadores sean desalojados. Los clubes nocturnos de Hollywood, al igual que otros negocios en nuestra ciudad, necesitan seguir las reglas, y cuando no lo hacen, tomamos medidas. Los clubes que sirven alcohol sin una licencia de alcohol son una mezcla peligrosa y están robando negocio de los clubes que han tomado las medidas correctas para hacer todo bien. Happy to take questions. Well, thank you very much. If there are no questions, thank you for covering this issue and for making clear to all Angelinos that we're here to protect public safety, and we're here to assure that operators in Hollywood and elsewhere obey the rules to protect the public, not to unduly divert LAPD resources, and to ensure that businesses that play by the rules actually are able to do so without detriment. Was there a question?
Yeah. What can the community do to help to stop these clubs from popping up?
So it's a great question. Again, to repeat, the question was, what can the community do to stop these clubs from popping up? Exactly what has happened in these and other instances. Raise the issue. Complain. Let LAPD know that there is an allegation in the community there's a club that's operating illegally. Contact our office, and we will reach out to LAPD to see that an investigation is conducted properly. Contact the Alcohol Beverage Control Board at the state level. There are so many locations which you can reach out to, from law enforcement to our office to the city council member for your community. Let any of those entities know, because we will take action, as you can tell from this case, from these cases rather. It's extremely important that residents know that when there are issues in the community, the whole reason we have the neighborhood prosecutor program in my office is to have this deep tie to neighborhoods and to be on top of problems and get them solved the way Ethan Weaver does in Hollywood. Thanks for your question. Any other questions?
Can you answer that in Spanish?
Not easily.
No, thank you.
We'll follow up with you.
Okay,
Thank you.